Hello and welcome to episode 264 of the Veeam Community Recap. I'm here by myself. Once again, I have no supervision, so I'm going to have some fun with it. So let's jump right in. Maddie's on vacation. Sophia's just back, so I don't have who's new. Gave her a pass. She'll let that come back to us next week. But we've got a couple of things I'm going to go through here, so let's jump into it. Just like this, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. There we go. So first up is actually Madalena. Right before she goes on vacation, she drops a nice one here. I just want to let everyone know, Veeam Backup and Replication 13.02 is now out. And what happens is, especially if you're using the Veeam software appliance, basically nothing. It automatically updates. Now, really, one of the things I'm going to talk about here in this episode of the recap really is a lot about updates. So if you're looking ahead at the tabs, you'll know that that's the truth. So, if I look at 1302, first of all, it's more about quality improvements, and I'm going to come back to it in the last piece of information that I'm going to cover here. But the thought here is 1302 doesn't have like net new stuff, but it really is updating what is inside of Veeam Backup and Replication. Now, if we look between 1302 and 1301, there were other updates really around the environment. So think of the Veeam software appliance, the hardened Linux environment, etc. So Maddie just really started the discussion that this is now available and the updates have been out. And I'm going to show you the list of that here in a second. And I really love hearing from the early adopters. So Chris, Marcel, Eric, Marcus, aka Dynamic, going to hear from him again as well. So in fact, he is on to my next topic here, but definitely keep this in mind and some perspectives, right? When we think about these auto updates, I remember last week got a note, updates are available, and I think I covered it on the recap last week. Since then, environments that I personally support have updated, no problem. Jobs went, no problem as well. But some other perspectives that they're sharing here is something to check out. All right, so thank you, Maddie. Right before you drop the vacation time, good to know. Marcus, aka Dynamic, has a topic related to about the auto updates and the dependencies. And I think this is a really good follow-on to what Madalena's got. And basically, Marcus is saying, don't let them drift apart. Now, this is especially important when you have multiple different components like a Veeam Backup Enterprise Manager, a Veeam Backup and Replication system, both on different Veeam software appliances. And I can tell you, I know a lot of folks are still using the Windows Veeam Backup and Replication, and that's good. I just expect everyone to understand that the Veeam software appliance is really directionally going to be a first-class citizen. Right now, not every single thing is exactly there, but it will be over time. So this is a good way to maybe start net new environments to be the Veeam software appliance, and much less a lab environment. If you need a NFR, let me know. Send me an email. But basically here, Marcus is talking about this potential configuration drift, right? Where the Veeam Backup and Replication server is at 1302.29, but the Enterprise Manager might be at 01.2067. Now, here's the thing. You could also have the Windows Enterprise Manager and the Veeam software appliance as backup and replication. And right now, currently, the Windows environments don't have an auto updater, but stay tuned for maybe enhancements in that space. But the thought here is when we look at the Windows-based components and their dependencies, you'll want to make sure those are updated. So when you get that email that updates are available, that would be a good time on, say, the Enterprise Manager, that if you have that on Windows, to do that automatically. And let me see if I can actually find for you an example of updates available. Well, I don't already have it because I deleted it. But like, for example, my home environment on the 31st, it went to, it updated to 2.29. And if you're on last week, I think I showed the email where it said updates are available, and it gives me technically a warning. So if you're getting first of all, you should do the email alerts. But the thought here is, yeah, I still have it from last week. So what I just showed you was the 31st, but on the 30th, you'll see that I, at least in my home environment, I'm still 1301.2067. Now, I don't actually run Enterprise Manager. Don't judge. It's a small environment at home. But in Marcus's email, if you have something like this come in, that would be the time to update Enterprise Manager in front of BNR. And honestly, you always want Enterprise Manager and Veeam 1 for that matter to be updated first. Good stuff. Thank you, Marcus, aka Dynamic. I believe I'm going to see you next week. All right, next up, Ken is back with a great topic. This one's around security. It's part 2. And keep in mind, he has part 1 ready linked right there from about 3 weeks ago. But just now, fresh, it is I'm recording here on Wednesday afternoon. Ken is talking about integrating with CrowdStrike, and I love it because here at Veeam, we've talked a lot about our security capabilities, the different integrations. Ken's does a great job here of explaining, first of all, why do we want to do this? I love that. So thank you, Ken. And then kind of the use case, the scenario, right up to date, 1302, hat tip to you there. Got a different, let's see, got some object storage, immutable, love that. VMware environments, latest Falcon sensor, and also the hardened repository, right? So Ken goes through all of this here, walking through roles. Let me just do it this way, showing you what you will look like, the different backup repositories, the malware detection, which is really the part that is a great way to feed that into CrowdStrike. And then this is where those events can get rolled up. So it does give you a nice quick tour of what is going on there. So thank you, Ken. And if I go down to the bottom, the new article, but Chris already got it, which is, it's hard to beat Chris, man. I really can't do it. But thank you, Ken. Good to call your name again. And good stuff. All right, next up, Michael Melter. I'm on number 4. I know. Maddie's not here. No supervision. That's what I can do. I want to talk about this one. And this one actually I didn't catch this one a few weeks ago. So this Michael Melter is talking about Postgres updates for May. This is actually an interesting one here. So we have been on a Postgres journey for Veeam, as you may know. And if you're on 12, so AKA the Windows version of Postgres, that will need to be updated as well. So when we think about the updates of the patches that we do for BNR, Michael pulls in a very important point right here that when we do like a Veeam patch on Windows, it doesn't do this, right? Now, if you look at the Veeam software appliance, those componentry, so the Rocky Linux, the databases and other elements that go into the Veeam software appliance that are not Veeam backup and replication, those are updated as well. In fact, those are updated often, all the different individual libraries and components. We call those quality updates. So the repository that publishes those updates, those happen a lot. In fact, I'd say between 1301 and 1302 is probably 5 or 6 updates, but it didn't change 1301 very specific ... number. 1302, which just did change the number. But if you're using V12 or the Windows ones, the Veeam backup and replication database that is running on Postgres should be patched up. So this is actually a good one here. So thank you for bringing this to our attention, Michael. And it actually gets a little bit serious in the sense of, I love this one here, but I only listen on localhost. And if you know much about Postgres, there's like this, the local traffic access. It's a little bit different among databases if you're used to other database types. But basically, this is something to think about as well. You know, I love the audit angle. That'll get you in trouble quick. But also, you know, Veeam, just by the nature of our market share, we are a target, but then attack chaining, the thought of putting things together. So I think this is a good one. And he walks through doing an update. And then if we look at the VSA or the VIA, not so much the VIA because it wouldn't be running Postgres, but the Veeam software appliance, you know, that will take the update channel through that. So I think Postgres, need some love too. So that's 4 pieces of content. I broke the rule. Maddie's out. It's what I do. All right. But I have the most special of special contents to share. So this one comes from our friend Federica. We've had her content featured here a little bit before, but we want to bring awareness, and I saw Emily shared this on LinkedIn, but the Empower Her VMCE and Accelerator program. So this is a really great way to empower women to advance in technology. We would provide these recipients the certification program, so really something to check out. But we got to hurry. This is only open till June 19th. So definitely want to look into this. But what I'd actually say, there's some really interesting extra benefits here. So we've got clearly 4 benefits identified: technical skills, a sense of belonging, visibility, and really just the value of that investment, some learning, as well as future impact. But I'd say there's a side benefit of networking. So this is a really great opportunity. So this is the roadmap, the timeline of these different things. So I highly recommend, if you're a practitioner, to go ahead and set up and do the application, as well as early stage career. So a couple of points here. It's got some got a roadmap of the time, 14 weeks, active participation, and willingness to engage. So check this out. A couple of different stories from a couple of different folks, and I hope you can check this out and definitely go. But like I said, this is only open, this cohort is only open until June 19th. Double check that I can make sure I got everything. But anyways, thank you, Federica. And thank you, other parts of our business who have supported the Veeam Empower Her VMCE Accelerator program. By the way, I just love this name, Empower Her. I was helping come up with some names, but someone else came up with that. And I'm like, you even beat me on the name game. That's a great one. All right. On vacation, calling your name twice, Maddie. Blog of the month winner. So we had that announced last week, and the winner is Pete Steven with the Swap Veeam Sober user post. I love this one, Peter Stefan. That's a great one. And not going to lie, but that's the one I voted for as well. I really like that one. So congratulations, Pete Steven. If you haven't already, a badge is coming your way. Just a quick note, everyone, be sure to check the events tab here on the Community Hub. I know last week we talked about this live stream here from the VUG Brazil. Actually, right now, I believe Sophia's getting ready to set up and join that one. It will have passed by this broadcast, but it'll be up for replay. It will be in Portuguese, though. Brazilian Portuguese. And then a couple upcoming ones we talked about: Netherlands and Argentina user groups, as well as a new Saudi one tomorrow, which will be after this goes out. But next week we got some VMON updates: Poland, Czech, and Australia coming around with some user groups. Leah, Sir Michael Paul, and Federica. I didn't even know I was going to call your name twice on this show, but breaking down some of the VeeamON news, which today, I'm recording on the 3rd, we had the London flagship event, so they'll walk everyone through that. Last thing I want to end you with here is actually just the knowledge base page in general. So if you've not been there, go there. And basically, you can sign up for all updates or just security updates. I know I've mentioned this over the year. This is actually a really important thing. Oh, we got cloud problems here. Let me switch this back around. No? Yeah, sorry about that. We have the knowledge-based article list here. You can sign up and get these. I believe they come on Tuesdays. But what I want to draw your attention to is when we talked about 1302, that one was recently the kicked off content here. I think I covered this last week, but these are fixes. So definitely check these out. That's what goes into it. And then same for some of the other different products. And it's a quick skim, and they're created by date. The only thing I want to draw your attention to is sometimes you'll find a knowledge base article that actually has been updated for years. So let me give you an example. I know I love to show this one a lot. well, the fact that it auto-populated knows what I'm talking about. So you'll see a lot of times, just to understand, it's initially published here, but it might be modified more recently. And this one, by the way, if you don't have your Veeam backup and replication server connected to the internet, this is how you get the updated definitions. So just note that when we look at our knowledge-based articles, they will have an initial publish and then an update post of like when that post was updated. So that's it for this week. I appreciate everyone. I don't have who's new, but I do expect to have it next week. And like I said, Sophia's back from a nice vacation. Maddie's out on vacation. I'm going to be soon out on vacation. What are we going to do next week? I got the Veeam on tour in Munich. I should be able to still record with Madalena if she's back, but only time will tell. So with that, I'm going to leave it right there for you. So thanks for watching this week's episode. We will see you on 265 next week.